Have you ever had someone metaphorically rain on your parade? Or wondered if the grandeur of ancient Rome truly faded or simply transformed? Today, we're diving into these very questions and so much more. From the secrets our brains keep, like why we really yawn and how we navigate the world without looking, to the legendary puzzles that could take billions of years to solve, and the profound philosophical question of whether time itself is an illusion. We'll explore the delicate nature of joy, the power of celebrating tiny victories, the enduring myths of ghosts, the symbolic quests in ancient folklore, and even imagine a world where we could share our deepest memories. Get ready for a journey across language, history, science, philosophy, and the great unanswered questions. This is English Plus Podcast, and we believe you should never stop learning. Let's begin. Imagine the scene: colorful floats, marching bands, cheering crowds, pure celebration, and then, suddenly, dark clouds roll in and unleash a downpour. Everything gets soggy, spirits dampen, the joyous energy fizzles out. That vivid image is precisely what the expression "to rain on someone's parade" captures, isn't it? But what are we really doing, linguistically and emotionally, when we use this phrase? This is English Express from English Plus Podcast. Never stop learning. Okay, think about a moment you were really, really excited. Just buzzing about some great news.
Yeah, pure joy.
Right. And then someone steps in, says something, and poof, all that excitement just vanishes like sudden rain during a picnic.
Or a parade.
Exactly, like rain on a parade. You feel that sudden drop. Right?
Absolutely. And that feeling is right at the heart of the idiom we're exploring today. To rain on someone's parade.
It means spoiling someone's good mood, doesn't it?
Precisely. Dampening their spirits, kind of ruining their plans or their happy moment. Often by dropping some negativity right when they're feeling good.
Yeah, like you get a promotion, you're thrilled, and someone immediately mentions the longer hours.
Or you're excited about a holiday, and they chime in with, "Oh, but the weather forecast looks awful."
Ugh, yeah. It just completely undercuts the happiness, doesn't it?
It really does. And the imagery itself is so effective, I think.
How so?
Well, a parade is all about public joy, celebration, right? It's bright, it's loud, it's happy.
Uh-huh. Very visual.
And rain is often this external, uncontrollable thing that just washes it all away, spoils the fun.
Yeah, it perfectly captures that feeling of deflation, like a balloon suddenly losing its air.
Exactly.
So why do people do that? Rain on parades. Is it always intentional?
That's a great question. I don't think it always is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might just be, well, bad timing.
Or maybe a lack of social awareness, like they don't quite read the room.
Right. They might even think they're being helpful or realistic, offering a different perspective. The timing is just off, way off.
Okay, so sometimes unintentional, but other times?
Well, yeah, other times the reasons might be less positive. Maybe a bit of jealousy, perhaps.
Okay. Seeing someone else happy and feeling envious.
It happens. Or maybe just general pessimism. Some people always seem to find the cloud,
Or that need to point out a potential problem, almost like they need to be in control or feel smarter.
That too. And sometimes it could even be genuine concern, but it's just expressed really poorly, really clumsily.
Right. But I guess whatever the reason, intentional or not, the impact tends to be negative, doesn't it?
Almost always. It just halts that positive feeling in its tracks. It dims the mood.
Makes the person maybe feel a bit silly for being so happy in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. It can feel quite exposing. And it sort of highlights how delicate positive emotions can be.
And how much our words matter.
Definitely. It brings us back to communication, empathy, thinking about the impact of what we say and when we say it.
It's a reminder to be mindful, especially when someone's sharing good news, like maybe hold the critique for a bit.
Right. There's a time and place for critical feedback or pointing out downsides, absolutely. But maybe not immediately after someone expresses pure joy. That often just shuts things down.
So this simple phrase, rain on someone's parade, it's kind of a neat little warning, isn't it?
It is. It warns us about a common conversational misstep. But it also makes you think more deeply about how we affect each other's feelings.
Whether we choose to, add to the sunshine or bring the rain clouds, it really makes you reflect. Have you ever felt like someone totally rained on your parade? How did it actually feel in that moment?
Oh, sure. It's not pleasant.
And maybe more uncomfortably. Have you ever caught yourself doing it? Maybe without realizing it at first.
That's the tougher question, isn't it? It requires a bit of self-awareness. What do you take away from thinking about this expression?
Lots to think about there.
Indeed.
And with this, we come to the end of another Learning Bite from English Plus Podcast. Stay curious and never stop learning. Last time, we talked about the slow unraveling of the Western Roman Empire. But while the lights were dimming in Rome, were they going out everywhere? Absolutely not. In fact, while the western part was fragmenting, the eastern part wasn't just surviving. It was gearing up for another millennium of existence. How did one half fade while the other transformed into a vibrant, enduring empire we now call Byzantium? This is History Bites from English Plus Podcast. Never stop learning. So it's really a tale of two halves, isn't it, when we think about the Roman Empire?
It really is. You've got the West, which, we often hear about declining.
Fading away, exactly. But then there's the eastern part, which had a completely different trajectory.
Right. It didn't just hang on. It actually thrived for, another 1,000 years?
Yeah.
Became the Byzantine Empire.
Which brings us to the big question for this deep dive. How did that happen? Why did one half fade while the other, flourished?
That's the core of it. And a lot hinges on one key figure, Emperor Constantine the Great, back in the early 4th century CE.
Constantine, yeah. He made some pivotal decisions.
He certainly did. Two stand out, really.
His embrace of Christianity, obviously, that was transformative for the empire's identity. Huge implications.
Massive. But for today's focus, I think his other big move is perhaps even more central to this east-west split.
You mean establishing a new capital city in the east?
Precisely. He chose this ancient Greek town, Byzantium, and its location was just incredibly strategic.
Right there on the Bosphorus Strait.
Exactly. The absolute crossroads between Europe and Asia. And it controlled those vital sea lanes, Black Sea to the Mediterranean.
Talk about prime real estate. And he didn't just move there, he rebuilt it, fortified it.
He did. Dedicated it in 330 CE as Nova Roma, New Rome.
Though we mostly know it as Constantinople.
Right. Became much better known by his name. And his reasons for moving, they made a lot of sense at the time.
Yeah. What was the thinking there?
Well, the East was simply wealthier. More cities, more trade, more resources compared to the West, which was facing increasing pressures and vulnerabilities.
Okay, so economics played a big part. And defense, too, I imagine.
Definitely. The East was seen as more defensible, and Constantinople itself, its geography, was a huge bonus.
That peninsula, right. Water on three sides.
A natural moat, essentially, which is a massive defensive advantage.
And later, they added those incredible walls.
The Theodosian walls. On the land side, truly formidable structures. They helped the city withstand siege after siege for centuries. That resilience was absolutely key to the empire's long survival.
So this Eastern Roman Empire, it gradually morphs into what we call the Byzantine Empire. But it's important, isn't it, that they didn't see themselves that way?
Not at all. They still called themselves Romaeoe Romans. To them, it was a direct continuation.
Right. Same empire, just different center of gravity, maybe.
Sort of. What developed was this unique civilization. It kept Roman law, Roman administration, the military structures, but culturally, it became predominantly Greek-speaking.
And religiously Orthodox Christian.
Exactly. That became central to Byzantine identity.
And Constantinople itself must have been something to behold.
Oh, absolutely. For centuries, it was the largest, the wealthiest city in Europe. A glittering metropolis full of trade, culture.
And amazing architecture, like the Hagia Sophia.
A perfect example. Started as a cathedral, later a mosque, now a museum. It just embodies that incredible Byzantine engineering and artistic skill. It's a testament, really.
So it really drives home the point. Byzantium wasn't just a successor state picking up the pieces. It was the Roman Empire continuing, just shifted eastward.
And playing a crucial role we sometimes forget, preserving so much classical knowledge.
From Greece and Rome.
Yes. Texts, philosophy, science. Much of it might have been lost during the turmoil in the West, if not for Byzantine scholars and libraries.
That's a huge contribution, and also its position as a buffer.
The vital one.
Yeah.
For centuries, it stood between Western Europe and rising powers in the East, Persians, Arabs, Turks, absorbing attacks, acting as a shield.
You even had emperors like Justinian trying to win back parts of the West.
Right, showing that Roman ambition never completely died out. They still dreamed of restoring the old empire.
It makes you think, though, looking back at Constantinople's incredible run lasting for over 1,000 years as a capital, what do you think was the most crucial factor?
That's a great question to ponder. Was it the unbeatable location? Those amazing defenses? Was it strong leadership at key moments, or maybe the cohesive culture?
Or maybe just the complex mix of everything working together?
Could be. It's definitely something worth considering. There's probably no single easy answer.
Yeah, probably not. But the story definitely shows that history isn't just about empires falling. It's also about, transformation, adaptation.
And remarkable continuity, sometimes where you least expect it.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
And with this, we come to the end of another Learning Bite from English Plus podcast. Stay curious and never stop learning. Are you chasing a big dream? Working towards a major goal? Trying to build a new habit? That's fantastic. But let me ask you this. Are you so focused on that distant mountain peak that you forget to notice the ground you're actually covering, step by step? Do you sometimes feel like you're getting nowhere because the finish line still seems miles away? If so, maybe it's time we talked about the incredible, often underestimated, power of celebrating small wins. This is Pep Talks from English Plus Podcast. Never stop learning.
Okay, so have you ever looked at a huge goal, something you really, really want, and just felt totally swamped?
Oh, definitely. Like you're miles away.
Exactly. And all the little things you're doing day to day, it feels like they're barely making a ripple, right?
Uh-huh. Like climbing a mountain and only looking at the summit.
Right. We've all been there. But what if we shifted focus a bit? What if we, looked down at the ground we've actually covered?
You mean celebrating the small wins along the way?
Yeah. Why is that actually so important? Let's dig into that a bit.
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it, how we're wired to look at the big finish line. That big dream gives us direction, sure, but it can easily overshadow the real engine driving us forward.
Which are those small wins?
Exactly. They're the proof, the tangible evidence that we are moving, not just stuck.
Yeah, I like that. Like, think of each little victory as a quick energy boost.
A little fuel for the fire.
Totally. You finally nail that one tricky email, or you manage to stick to that new workout routine just one more day. That little success, it gives you a lift.
A sense of, okay, yeah, I did that.
Right. I got this.
Yeah.
It's like putting small pieces of wood on a campfire. It keeps that motivation burning.
And finishing one small thing often makes the next one feel, well, less daunting.
Oh, absolutely. It's a great way to get some momentum going, isn't it?
It really is. And that momentum feeds directly into something crucial, our confidence.
Ah, okay. So it's not just about getting stuff done.
Not at all. Each little achievement, it's like a positive little message you send yourself.
Like what?
Like it shifts from, gosh, I hope I can do this, to something more solid. Like, okay, I am actually doing this.
Right. Proof.
Yeah. These small wins, they build up a real solid foundation of self-belief, step by step.
And that change in how we see things.
Yeah.
That can be huge, can't it? Especially when you're facing something that feels massive.
Definitely. If you break down that giant mountain, like you said, into smaller, manageable bits, and then you actually notice and acknowledge each little climb you complete.
Suddenly, the whole thing doesn't seem quite so impossible.
Precisely. You stop staring at the sheer size of it all and focus on just the next few steps uphill. Much less intimidating.
Okay, so we feel good, we get momentum, we build confidence. Is there science behind this feeling good part?
Oh, absolutely. There's actually some cool brain science involved. Our brains have this built-in reward system.
Right.
And when we achieve something, even something pretty small, our brain releases dopamine.
Ah, the feel-good chemical.
That's the one. It's linked with pleasure, with reinforcement. So basically, achieving makes us feel good.
Which makes us want to do it again.
Exactly. It creates this positive feedback loop. You do something, feel good, and your brain encourages you to, keep going down that path.
That makes so much sense. Okay,
Yeah.
So practically speaking, how do we do this? It doesn't have to be a big song and dance every time we check something off a list, right?
Oh, heavens no.
Okay.
It can be super simple. Sometimes it's just mentally noting it. A quiet little internal high five.
Like, hey, Good job, me.
Yeah. Or maybe, if you're comfortable, you mention it to a friend who gets it, someone supportive.
Okay.
Some people, they find it really helpful to actually write these things down, like a wins journal. Doesn't have to be fancy.
Yeah, just jotting down those successes, big or small.
And it's personal too, isn't it? What feels like a win for one person might be totally different for someone else.
Good point.
The main thing is just consciously recognizing the effort and the mini achievement, no matter how small it seems on the surface.
Like, what kind of things are we talking about? Give us some examples.
Sure, it could be finally finishing a tough chapter in a book or report.
Okay.
Or maybe choosing the salad when you really wanted the fries.
That's a big win some days.
Totally. Or writing just one paragraph when you felt blocked. Or maybe just handling a difficult conversation calmly.
Yeah, those are all definitely wins worth noticing.
They add up.
So true. And actually, right now, maybe think about this if you're listening. What's just one small win you've had? Maybe today, maybe this week.
Yeah, something you might normally just brush past.
Exactly. Something you wouldn't even clock as a success. Just take a second, identify it.
And give yourself a little credit.
You earned it. It's funny how we often skip over these, isn't it?
Well, I think maybe our culture sometimes puts so much emphasis on the huge traumatic finish lines, you know?
Yeah, the big reveal.
Right. But really understanding and appreciating the power of these small steps. That's often the key to actually getting to those bigger goals without burning out.
It keeps you going. Such a valuable thing to remember.
Absolutely.
And with this, we come to the end of another Learning Bite from English Plus Podcast. Stay curious and never stop learning.
That eerie feeling of being watched when you're alone, a door mysteriously slamming shut, a fleeting shadow glimpsed from the corner of your eye. For centuries, people have interpreted these kinds of experiences as encounters with ghosts, spirits of the dead lingering in our world. Belief in ghosts cuts across cultures and time periods. But just because the belief is persistent and the stories are compelling, does that make ghosts real? This is Mythbuster from English Plus Podcast. Never stop learning.
Okay, so that sudden chill, right? Or maybe hearing a whisper when no one's there. That feeling someone's watching you. These are things pretty much everyone experiences, aren't they? And for, well, forever, people have said, ghosts.
Absolutely. It's woven into so many cultures, so much history. But the big question is, does that feeling, those stories actually mean ghosts are, real?
Exactly. That's what we want to dig into today. We're going to explore it, but to try to think critically about it, looking at those really strong feelings people have.
Right. Because you can't just dismiss someone's genuine experience, but at the same time, what counts as solid proof?
Yeah, because science, well, it can't disprove everything, obviously, but it's looking for positive evidence.
Yeah.
And that kind of proof for ghosts, the way we usually think of them, it's just not there yet.
Precisely. So maybe let's talk about some very real, very natural explanations for those creepy feelings. Our own brains can be pretty tricky sometimes.
Okay, yeah, like seeing faces in clouds or, I don't know, burnt toast.
That's it. Pareidolia. Our brains are pattern matching machines, sometimes too good. And hearing things. A creaky floorboard, wind. It's easy to mistake sounds. Combine that with, confirmation bias. You remember the one time the light flickered weirdly, but forget the 100 times it didn't?
Right. You build a case in your head almost.
Exactly. And it's not just our minds. The place itself matters.
Oh, yeah. Old houses definitely make noises, creaks, groans.
Settling, temperature changes, drafts. A cold spot could just be a draft, not a ghostly presence. Even faulty wiring can make lights flicker.
Okay, that makes sense.
And there's something called infrasound, super low frequency sound and below what we consciously hear.
Infrasound, what does that do?
Well, some studies suggest it can actually make people feel uneasy, anxious, even cause weird visual effects like seeing things move in the corner of your eye. It's unsettling, as you said.
Wow, okay. And then there's the psychological side too, right? Like grief.
Huge factor. Losing someone close can definitely create a powerful feeling that they're still near. It's a coping mechanism in a way. And suggestion is incredibly powerful. If you go somewhere famous for being haunted, you're already expecting things. Every little creak sounds significant.
You're primed for it.
Totally.
Plus, simple things like being really tired, stressed out, or experiencing sleep paralysis, those can all lead to vivid hallucinations that feel incredibly real.
Yeah, sleep paralysis is terrifying. And I guess we should mention, sometimes it's just fake, right? Hoaxes.
We have to acknowledge that, yeah. Some reported stuff is definitely just people making things up or staging things.
So this all leads to a key point, doesn't it? The burden of proof.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're making an extraordinary claim like, ghosts exist and I saw one, the responsibility is on you to provide extraordinary evidence.
And the usual stuff we see online or on TV shows. The shaky videos, the EMF meters going off.
They almost always have mundane explanations. EMF meters react to wiring, appliances, phones. Cold spot could be airflow. Shaky cam is just shaky cam.
Right, so those compelling personal stories, while deeply felt, just don't cut it as objective, verifiable proof in a scientific sense.
Exactly. Believing is one thing, a personal choice. Proving it to objective standards is quite another.
So it boils down to belief versus, well, in fact, we can demonstrate.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, though, what's the most convincing ghost story you've ever heard? Or what kind of evidence would actually make you think, okay, maybe?
That's a great question for everyone listening. What standard of proof do you need for something like this? How does it compare to other beliefs you hold?
So wrapping this up, those uncanny, eerie feelings, they're definitely real human experiences, but it seems like most of the time there are natural explanations hiding behind them.
Brain tricks, environmental factors, psychological states, they cover a lot of ground. The claim that ghosts are out there as separate entities, well, that requires really solid evidence.
And that evidence just hasn't shown up yet, objectively speaking.
So a final thought for you listening. Think about that line between a strong feeling and a verifiable fact. Where else in life does that distinction really matter?
And with this, we come to the end of another Learning Bite from English Plus Podcast. Stay curious and never stop learning.
Imagine you're a hunter, deep in the heart of an ancient, primal forest, the kind that whispers secrets on the wind. You're tracking ordinary game when suddenly, through the dappled sunlight, you spot it, a stag larger than any you've seen, with a coat as pure and white as freshly fallen snow, perhaps even glowing with a soft light. It meets your gaze for a moment, then vanishes into the trees. Instinct takes over. You have to follow. This is Gods and Heroes from English Plus Podcast. Never stop learning.
Okay, so think about this. Imagine you're walking through some ancient woods, maybe the Bitloss, and then you see it, a stag. But it's pure white, maybe even seems to, glow a little against the trees.
Wow, yeah.
That's the white stag. It pops up in so many old stories, Slavic, other European ones.
All right.
And it immediately makes you think, what's going on here? It feels significant.
Absolutely. And in those old tales, when the white stag shows up, it's almost never just about, well, a hunt ending successfully.
Right, not just bagging a trophy.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
It usually means something much bigger is starting.
Yeah.
Like a spiritual quest or a journey into something extraordinary.
It definitely hooks you. It makes you wonder what's next.
For sure.
So the typical story goes something like this, right? There's a hunter, could be anyone, a prince, maybe just a hero figure, and they become totally fixated on this stag, this elusive, maybe shimmering white stag.
You obsess.
But it feels like more than just wanting to catch it. There's something else driving that, isn't there?
I think so. The chase itself takes over everything. And what's really fascinating is how the stag often seems to be leading the hunter.
Leading them? How so?
Well, it doesn't just bolt in terror. It draws the pursuer on deeper and deeper into woods they don't know.
So it's pulling them away from their normal world.
Precisely. This act of being led deliberately away from the familiar.
Yeah.
That feels really important. It's a key part of the pattern.
Okay, so if catching it isn't always the goal, because it often gets away, right?
Usually, yes. It's famously uncatchable in many stories.
Then what is the point of this epic chase?
That's the crucial question. The real point isn't the capture. It's the journey the chase sparks.
The journey itself.
Yeah. The stag is like a guide, or maybe a test of the hunter's resolve, or it's like a beacon pointing towards some kind of revelation or discovery.
So the experiences during the chase are what matter, the challenges.
Exactly. Those are the critical things. What happens along the way?
And where could this, magical guide lead someone? It's not just going to lead them back to the main path, I guess.
No, definitely not. Often the white stag guides the hunter to places that feel, well, different, special, maybe even sacred.
Like what kind of places?
Think hidden groves deep in the forest or mysterious springs. Sometimes even encounters with nature spirits, like the Lishi in Slavic lore.
Wow.
Or perhaps even meeting deities linked to nature cycles, like Jarilo. The destinations really emphasize this link between our world and, well, something else.
Something more profound. That sounds like the kind of journey that could really change a person.
It absolutely could. And you mentioned it acting as a guide to the other world. That's another fascinating layer.
Yeah, how does that aspect work? Like a psychopomp?
Sort of, yeah. In some traditions, following the white stag isn't just about getting lost in the woods. It's about crossing a boundary.
A boundary to where?
To a realm beyond ours. A place sometimes called Nav or Viraj, in Slavic belief associated with the dead, or maybe the gods. It's a passage from the ordinary world
into the extraordinary, the spiritual. And that striking white color, that has to mean something specific, doesn't it? It feels so symbolic.
Oh, definitely. White carries so much weight. Purity, innocence.
The sacred.
The sacred, yes, and the supernatural. A white stag just instantly signals something other, something special. It's almost universal, that feeling.
So, given how special it is, you probably shouldn't try to harm it, even if you got the chance. Are there warnings about that?
Yes, often quite serious ones. The stories frequently warn of terrible consequences, bad luck, curses, sometimes worse for anyone who harms the white stag.
Okay, so hands off.
Pretty much. It really reinforces that sacred status, and this underlying idea of respecting the natural order, the wild, and maybe the spiritual forces tied to it.
It's such a powerful image. It really captures the imagination, even now. Why do you think it's stuck around so effectively in our stories and psyche?
Well, if you step back, the white stag seems to tap into some really fundamental human things, doesn't it?
What?
Like that deep desire for something just out of reach, maybe the unattainable, the call of the wild, the lure of the unknown.
The mystery.
Right. And also that possibility, that hope, maybe, of transformation, that we can change and grow by facing challenges and venturing beyond our comfort zones.
The journey it represents speaks to that desire for meaning, for discovery.
Exactly. It's all wrapped up in that image of the chase. So it makes you think, doesn't it? Have you ever felt like you were chasing a white stag in your own life?
How do you mean?
Like pursuing a goal, maybe an idea or a dream that felt really elusive, almost impossible. But the pursuit itself, even if you didn't quite get the stag you were initially after.
It led you somewhere important anyway.
Exactly. Led you on a path of discovery. Taught you something unexpected. It makes you wonder about the real value of those hard pursuits.
It really does. Something to reflect on.
Definitely.
And with this, we come to the end of another Learning Bite from English Plus podcast. Stay curious and never stop learning.
Tick-tock, the clock keeps moving. Moments pass, the future becomes the present, and the present slips into the past. We feel time flowing like a river, carrying us along its current. It seems like one of the most fundamental aspects of our reality, right? But what if I told you that this intuitive feeling of time's passage might be just that, a feeling, an illusion created by our consciousness? What if past, present, and future all exist simultaneously? This is Philosophy Nuggets from English Plus Podcast. Never stop learning.
Okay, let's dive in. Think about how we experience time.
Yeah.
We always talk about it moving, don't we? Like a tick-tock.
Or like a river, flowing past, present, future.
Exactly. It feels so real, so fundamental. But what if that feeling, the flow, is just like an illusion? What if everything past, present, future kind of exists all at once?
Well, that's diving right into the deep end. It touches on these two big philosophical ideas about time.
Right. Two main camps, sort of.
The first one is probably the one that feels most natural to us. It's called presentism.
Presentism. Okay, so that's the idea that only the present moment is actually real.
Precisely. The past, it's done, it's gone. Just memories now.
And the future.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened. It's not real yet, just like possibilities.
Exactly. Time marches on, making the future now for a split second, and then boom, it's past. It fits our intuition perfectly.
It really does. It's how things feel.
But then you have the other view, eternalism. And this one's a bit more, mind-bending.
Okay, eternalism. This is where it gets wild, right?
You could say that. Eternalism suggests that all moments in time are equally real.
Equally real. So, like the dinosaurs.
Yep. And your breakfast this morning.
And whatever I'll be doing 10 years from now.
According to eternalism, yes. It's all just there, existing.
How does that even work?
Think of it like a loaf of bread, but four-dimensional. A block universe. Every single event, past, present, future, has its fixed spot in this block.
So time doesn't flow.
In this view, no. The flow we perceive is just our consciousness moving, like reading through the pages of a book that already contains the whole story.
So there's no special now that's more real than any other time.
Not according to eternalism. Every moment is just another coordinate in space-time.
Wow. Okay. So the past isn't really gone.
Right.
And the future isn't just potential. It's all just existing out there.
That's the core idea. And it's not just philosophy tossing this around. Physics actually gives it some weight.
Ah, right. You mean like Einstein and relativity?
Exactly.
Right.
Relativity really shook things up. It showed time isn't universal, it's relative. Depends on how fast you're moving, gravity.
Right. Time passes differently for different observers.
And it treats time as a dimension linked with space.
Yes.
You get this fabric called space-time.
Okay.
And within that space-time picture, the idea of one single now happening everywhere at the same time, it gets really difficult to sustain. It kind of points towards this block universe idea.
So if we really take eternalism seriously, what does that mean for us, like our lives?
The big questions.
Yeah. Like free will. If the future already exists in this block, are my choices already written? Am I just playing out a script?
That's one of the huge implications people grapple with. If it's all fixed, what does choice mean?
And what about, say, past mistakes, regrets? Are they just eternally there in the block?
Or future joys, future sorrows, are they already locked in? It changes how you might think about hope or loss.
Yeah. It's a lot to think about. The idea that all the good stuff and all the awful stuff just exists permanently.
It definitely forces you to reconsider, well, everything. Reality, consciousness, our journey through time.
So for everyone listening, just pause for a second. How do you feel time? Is it that river flowing? Or can you maybe try to imagine this other idea, this block universe?
Yeah, where everything coexists.
And think about this. Does that idea, the block universe, does it comfort you somehow? Or does it feel, I don't know, unsettling, disturbing even?
It's a fascinating thought experiment, whichever way you lean.
And with this, we come to the end of another Learning Bite from English Plus Podcast. Stay curious and never stop learning.
Think about a dream you hold close to your heart. Maybe it's starting a new career, learning a skill, traveling somewhere exotic, writing a book, deepening a relationship, or maybe something simpler like speaking up more in meetings. Feel that spark of excitement? Be really honest with yourself. Is there a fear tangled up with that dream? A little voice, or maybe a roaring giant that holds you back, makes you hesitate, tells you all the reasons why you can't or shouldn't? What is that one fear that acts like a thief, trying to steal your dream? This is Questions That Matter from English Plus Podcast. Never stop learning.
Okay, let's just take a moment here. Think about a dream you're holding on to. You know the one I mean. Maybe it's that career shift, or like learning a new skill, that big trip you keep thinking about, or maybe finally getting that book written, or working on a relationship, or just, well, speaking up more often. Just hold that in your mind. Okay, now be really honest. What's the first little, maybe a flicker of fear that pops up when you think about actually doing it? What's that feeling?
It's really something, isn't it? How fear, which is fundamentally there to keep us safe, can become this huge barrier, especially when it comes to the things we, really want. It's primal, sure, but that alarm system, sometimes it's just a bit too sensitive for our own good, for our growth.
Exactly, and it's so sneaky sometimes. Fear doesn't usually, shout at you. It's more subtle. Think about the fear of failure, that voice saying, well, what if I try and it just flops?
Yeah.
But it's also that quiet dread, maybe, about feeling embarrassed or letting people down or yourself down. Have you ever felt that? That kind of clutch in your chest when you think about putting yourself out there for that dream?
Oh, absolutely. And, what's interesting is the other side of that coin, the fear of success. We don't talk about that one quite as much, but think about it. Success can mean huge changes, more responsibility maybe, being more visible, the pressure to keep it up, even feeling like you don't deserve it, like an imposter.
Yeah.
Does the idea of actually getting what you want sometimes feel a little all scary in itself.
That's such a good point. It's not just about falling flat. It's about the potential weight of succeeding, too. Wow. And then there's that big one, fear of judgment. What are people going to think, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Will they criticize? Will they just not get it? Has that worry about what others might say ever, nudged you off course from something you wanted?
That social angle is massive. We're wired to want approval, right? So the thought of negative feedback can be a really powerful break. And then there's the fear of the unknown. Pushing towards a dream nearly always means leaving the familiar behind. And even if where you are now isn't great, it's known. There's a weird comfort in predictability. Have you ever sort of found yourself stuck, maybe in a comfortable rut, just because stepping out felt too uncertain?
Oh, for sure. The devil you know, right? And that often gets tangled up with the fear of inadequacy. That little nagging voice, you're not good enough, or you don't have the skills yet, it's not the right time.
Yeah.
Does that feeling, that self-doubt, does that ring true for you with that dream you were just thinking about?
And these feelings, they feel so personal, but they often come from similar places. Past experiences, maybe things that didn't quite work out, messages we picked up growing up, comparing ourselves all the time, or even just how our brains are wired to, look for threats. And how do these fears show up? Well, often in sneaky ways. Procrastination, for one, making excuses, or that need for everything to be absolutely perfect before you start, which means you never start, or just avoiding it altogether. Do any of those patterns sound familiar in your own life?
That perfectionism one, that really gets me. But it's so crucial to see these aren't character flaws. They're more like signals pointing to a fear underneath. And the first really powerful step is just naming it, figuring out which fear it is, not to criticize yourself, but just to see the obstacle clearly. Once you can name it, you can start asking, okay, is this fear realistic, or is my mind kind of blowing it out of proportion?
Precisely, yeah. And once you've sort of zeroed in on that main fear, then you can ask, what's one tiny thing I could do, one really small action I could take today, even with the fear? Even a tiny step starts to loosen its grip. So let's go back to that dream you thought about at the start. What would you say is the number one fear that feels like it's holding you back right now? Try and just put it into words, even if it's just for yourself. It's surprisingly powerful just naming it.
Yeah, it really is. And hey, if you feel comfortable doing it, we'd actually love for you to share that fear. You can do it totally anonymously if you want, in the comments on our platform or website. Sometimes just saying it out loud or typing it out, bringing it into the light, it just lessens its power somehow.
It's true. And what's really striking, I think, is just how common these feelings are. Our dreams might be totally different, unique to us, but those underlying anxieties, so many of us share them. Just knowing you're not alone in feeling this way can be, pretty helpful in itself.
And with this, we come to the end of another Learning Bite from English Plus podcast. Stay curious and never stop learning.
Have you ever faced a really tough challenge? Something that tested your limits, but you knew you had to push through to reach your goal? There's an ancient Latin phrase that perfectly encapsulates that feeling. A motto adopted by countless organizations, states like Kansas, and individuals throughout history. Ad astra per aspera. Roughly translated, it means to the stars through difficulties, or perhaps a rough road leads to the stars. What makes this phrase resonate so strongly across centuries? This is what they said from English Plus podcast. Never stop learning.
We've all been there, haven't we? Facing something really challenging, something that pushes you but feels important.
Definitely. That feeling when the goal is huge and the path looks, tough.
Exactly. And there's this amazing old Latin phrase that just captures it perfectly. Ad astra per aspera.
Ah, yes, a classic.
It means something like to the stars through difficulties, or sometimes you hear a rough road leads to the stars.
It's quite poetic, really.
It is. And it's not just some dusty old quote. Loads of organizations, even the U.S. state of Kansas, have adopted it.
Right. Makes you wonder why, doesn't it? What gives it that staying power?
That's what we want to dig into. Why does this idea of linking hardship and, great achievements resonate so much?
Well, let's break down the Latin itself, maybe. It helps.
Good idea.
So ad is pretty simple, just means to or towards.
Okay, towards something.
Towards astra, the stars. But obviously it's usually metaphorical.
Right, not literally flying to space, probably more like big ambitions, high goals, success.
Exactly that. Lofty goals, success, enlightenment, glory, all that kind of aspirational stuff is wrapped up in astra.
Got it. Ad astra. Towards the stars. Then what?
Then per. Also straightforward. Through.
Okay.
And the final, crucial word, aspera. This means hardships, difficulties, rough patches, basically. The tough stuff.
So ad astra per aspera, literally, to the stars through the rough stuff.
Precisely. It lays it right out there. The path of the stars goes through the difficulties.
What strikes me is how direct it is. It doesn't, like, pretend the journey will be easy.
No sugarcoating at all. It acknowledges struggle as just part of the deal, almost.
Yeah, and it maybe even suggests those struggles aren't just roadblocks to get past.
That's a key insight, I think. It kind of reframes hardship. Maybe it's not just an obstacle, but the necessary path.
The path itself. Interesting. Is that an old idea?
It seems to be.
Yeah.
You can find similar sentiments, perhaps, in classical writers. This notion that overcoming adversity is, well, formative, valuable.
It speaks volumes about character, doesn't it? Perseverance, building resilience.
Exactly. The phrase implies that the struggle changes you, develops you. You don't just arrive at the astra, you arrive changed by the aspera.
You're shaped by the climb, not just enjoying the view from the top.
Well put. And I think that's why it connects with so many people in so many different situations.
Like what sort of situations?
Oh, think about anyone really pushing themselves. Athletes training, students grinding through tough studies, entrepreneurs facing uncertainty.
People fighting for social change against opposition.
Right. Or even just personal battles, overcoming private obstacles.
Yeah.
For anyone facing a hard road to a worthy goal, this phrase says, yeah, it's tough. Keep going.
It validates the effort, says it's okay that it's hard, maybe even necessary.
It's like that image of climbing a rocky mountain to reach the stars, rather than just floating up effortlessly.
Yeah, the climb matters. It makes you earn it.
Which brings up a good question for you listening. Do you think hardship is really necessary for great achievements? Or is it just something that often comes along for the ride?
Good question. Is it essential or just common?
And does navigating the aspera, the difficulties, actually add value to reaching the astra, the stars? Does the struggle make the success sweeter or more meaningful?
Something to definitely reflect on. Think about your own aspera and astra moments. What was that link like for you?
Yeah, what did you learn in the tough parts?
Absolutely. Reflect on those times you've really had to push through. What did you learn about yourself and the goal in the process? And with this, we come to the end of another Learning Bite from English Plus Podcast. Stay curious and never stop learning.
Imagine your body is like an incredibly complex building made of trillions of specialized bricks. Bone bricks, muscle bricks, nerve bricks, skin bricks, and so on. Now, what if, tucked away within that building, there was a supply of magical, unformed blank bricks that could transform into any type of brick needed to repair damage or build new sections? Sounds like science fiction? Well, it's science fact. Meet stem cells. This is Science Sparks from English Plus Podcast. Never stop learning.
Imagine the human body, right? It's this incredibly complex structure. Think specialized cells for bones, muscles, nerves, skin.
Yeah, each with a very specific function, like tiny experts doing one job.
Exactly. But what if? What if there were also some kind of unformed cells, sort of blank slates?
Blank slates, capable of becoming any of those specialized cells.
Yeah. Ready to, jump in for repairs or build new tissues when needed? Sounds a bit sci-fi.
It does, a little. But actually, it's very real science. We're talking about stem cells.
Stem cells, right. I've heard the term, but what makes them so special? You mentioned unique abilities.
They are pretty unique, yeah. They basically have these two, let's call them superpowers.
Superpowers. Okay, I'm intrigued. What's the first one?
Well, the first is self-renewal. Stem cells can divide and just make more copies of themselves, exact copies.
So they don't run out? They can keep their numbers up?
Precisely. They replenish their own supply. Think of them as blank bricks that could just keep being made ready for use.
Okay, blank bricks. Got it. Self-renewing. What's superpower number 2? That must be the transformation part.
That's it. It's called differentiation. A stem cell starts out, unspecialized, no specific job title yet, but it holds this incredible potential to develop, to differentiate into all sorts of specialized cells.
So that one blank brick could become a heart muscle brick or a brain cell brick.
Or a red blood cell or a skin cell
yeah.
or, whatever the body signals it needs. They're like, master keys?
Master keys. I like that. Unlocking the potential to become many different cell types. Are all stem cells the same, though? Or are there different kinds of these master keys?
Good question. No, there are different types. First, you have embryonic stem cells.
From very early development?
Exactly. Found in embryos just a few days old. And what's really remarkable about them is they are pluripotent.
Pluripotent. Meaning
They can differentiate into basically any cell type in the entire body. Huge potential.
Wow. Okay. Of course, there are ethical discussions around using those, right?
Yes, absolutely. Their source is a significant ethical consideration. But then we also have adult stem cells.
So cells we have in our bodies right now.
That's right. Also called somatic stem cells. We find them in various tissues. Bone marrow is a big one, but also skin, the gut, even the brain.
And are they pluripotent too? Can they become anything?
Generally, no. They're usually multipotent.
Multipotent. Less potential.
Less broad, yeah. They can differentiate, but typically only into a limited range of cell types related to the tissue where they live, like stem cells in your bone marrow. They're powerhouses for making all your different blood cells, red cells, white cells, platelets.
Okay. So they act like a built-in repair system for specific areas, replacing cells that get old or damaged.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Constantly working to maintain and repair tissues.
Embryonic, adult. But I feel like I've heard about a third kind, something made in the lab.
You have. Those are induced pluripotent stem cells, or iPSCs. This was a major breakthrough.
Induced. So scientists make them.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
They figured out how to take a regular adult cell, like a skin cell, and reprogram it in the lab.
Reprogram it? Back to what?
Back to a state that's very similar to an embryonic stem cell. Back to being pluripotent.
No way. So you get the broad potential without needing an embryo.
That's the key advantage, yes. It bypasses many of the ethical concerns associated with embryonic stem cells.
Okay, this is huge for medicine, isn't it? The potential seems enormous.
It really is. The whole field of regenerative medicine is buzzing because of these cells. Their ability to repair and replace damaged tissue is just, well, it opens so many doors.
Like what? What are the big hopes?
Oh, there are many. Imagine regenerating heart muscle cells after someone has a heart attack.
That would be incredible.
Or replacing the specific brain cells, the neurons, that are lost in Parkinson's disease.
Wow.
Creating new insulin-producing cells for people with type 1 diabetes. Maybe even repairing spinal cord injuries to restore function.
Repairing spinal cords? That feels revolutionary. Just the possibility is amazing.
It truly is. The potential for these versatile master keys within our bodies, or created in the lab to transform treatments, is just immense. It's a very exciting time in biology. What application, just thinking about it now, feels most impactful or hopeful to you?
That's tough. They all sound game-changing. Maybe the neurological applications, like for Parkinson's or spinal cord injuries, because those conditions can be so devastating. The thought of reversing that damage.
It's a powerful motivator for the research, definitely. So much potential waiting to be unlocked.
Absolutely. It's fascinating stuff.
And with this, we come to the end of another Learning Bite from English Plus Podcast. Stay curious and never stop learning.
It's a parent's worst nightmare. Your college-age child is driving home, a journey they've made before. But something is wrong. The phone calls are strange, spaced out, concerning. They seem distressed, maybe disoriented. Then, hours after their last contact, their car is found crashed in a remote area, but they are nowhere to be found. This is the baffling and heartbreaking story of Bryce Lespisa, who vanished in August 2013. What happened on that long drive home? This is Unsolved Mysteries from English Plus Podcast. Never stop learning.
Okay, let's dive into a case that's, well, truly perplexing. We're looking at Bryce Lespisa. He vanished back in 2013.
Right, a 19-year-old college student. He was just supposed to be driving home to his parents.
Exactly. And it starts as this totally normal situation, a drive home. But it turns into, well, a nightmare for his family.
And the timeline is just, it's baffling. He leaves unexpectedly, and then over the next day and a half, these calls start. Really strange calls.
Yeah, increasingly odd behavior. And then his car is found, crashed, but he's just gone.
Completely vanished. It makes no sense on the surface.
So leading up to it, there were signs, right? Things weren't quite right.
Definitely. We know he broke up with his girlfriend pretty suddenly, started giving away possessions.
Possessions? Like what kind of stuff?
Significant things, like apparently diamond earrings his mother had given him, That feels like a big gesture, you know?
Oh, yeah. That's not just random clutter he's getting rid of.
No. And then there's the weird stuff with his car. Spending hours just parked, calling roadside assistance.
Even though the car was okay.
Seemed to be, yeah. He even refused help when it arrived.
Yeah.
His parents, meanwhile, are tracking him, getting more and more worried. You can only imagine.
Absolutely terrifying for them. And the last time they actually spoke to him.
That was a call with his mom, very early morning, August 30th, around 2:08 a.m., I think. He just said he was tired, pulling over to sleep somewhere.
Okay. Pulling over to sleep. Well, it's just a few hours later.
Around 5:30 a.m., yeah. His SUV, a Toyota Highlander, is found. It's overturned off the road near Castaic Lake.
And inside the car, what did they find?
Well, this is another strange part. His wallet was there. His laptop. His cell phone.
All the things you'd think someone would take if they were, like, planning to run off, or if someone else was involved.
Exactly. The back window was broken. Maybe that's how he got out, but out to where?
And they searched, right. I mean, Castaic Lake, that area, it's pretty rugged terrain in places.
Oh, massively. Huge search effort. Ground teams, dogs trained for this, helicopters scanning everything.
Did they search the lake itself?
They did. Dive teams went into Castaic Lake. Just nothing. No sign of Bryce anywhere. Despite all that effort.
It's like he evaporated. How does that even happen?
Well, that's the huge question. And it leads to the main theories people consider.
Okay, so what are the possibilities? Let's walk through them.
First, you've got the accident theory, maybe combined with exposure. He crashes, he's hurt, maybe confused.
Disoriented, yeah, and he wanders off.
Right. And maybe he succumbs to the environment out there. It's plausible, given the crash and the location.
But didn't you just say the search was massive? Wouldn't they have found something? A footprint, clothing, anything?
You'd think so. That's the big hole in that theory. Such a thorough search turning up absolutely zero trace. It's hard to square.
Okay, so what's next? Theory 2.
Voluntary disappearance. Maybe he was having some kind of mental health crisis, severe distress.
His behavior leading up to it was certainly erratic. Breaking up, giving away valuables. It points to something going on.
It does. Maybe he just wanted to leave his old life behind entirely.
But how? He left his wallet, his phone. How do you start over with literally nothing? No money, no ID, no way to contact anyone.
That's the major sticking point there. It seems incredibly difficult, almost impossible, to just vanish like that without any resources.
Which leaves the really unsettling option, foul play.
Yeah, the idea that maybe he encountered someone after the crash, or maybe the crash wasn't just an accident.
Is there any actual evidence for that? Anything pointing to someone else being involved?
Honestly, no direct evidence has ever surfaced. But when the other explanations have such big holes in them.
Foul play kind of stays on the table by default, doesn't it?
It does. It remains a possibility you can't completely dismiss, even without proof.
So we're left with these huge unanswered questions, like why did his behavior change so dramatically, so fast?
What was he doing heading towards Castaic Lake specifically? Was there a reason for that route?
And the biggest one for me, that gap. What happened between 2:08 a.m. when he said he was pulling over and 5:30 a.m. when the car was found? 3 hours.
Just a few crucial hours where everything changed. What do you think is the most puzzling piece here? It's hard to pick just one.
It really is. And after all this time, over a decade now, his family is still waiting, still living with that awful uncertainty.
An enduring, heartbreaking mystery.
And with this, we come to the end of another Learning Bite from English Plus Podcast. Stay curious and never stop learning.
Can you remember the last time something stopped you in your tracks, filled you with awe, and made you ask, wow, how is that even possible? That delightful mix of surprise, admiration, and curiosity, that, my friends, is the magic of wonder. This is Word of the Day from English Plus Podcast. Never stop learning.
So, you ever had one of those moments, something just stops you in your track?
Oh, definitely. That feeling like surprise mixed with a bit of awe.
Yeah, exactly. And you suddenly feel really curious. You want to know more?
That's it. That's wonder. We're diving into that today.
Right. Like seeing a shooting star blaze across the sky, just bam.
Or getting really close to a snowflake, seeing that incredible pattern. It's perfect.
Or even watching a tiny seed, just a little thing start pushing up through the soil.
Yeah, these things just grab you. They really do.
And it's not just nature, is it? I think about kids watching a really simple magic trick.
Oh, totally. Their eyes get so wide.
And the questions. How did you do that? Why did it disappear?
Yeah.
That pure fascination.
It's that mix again, isn't it? Surprise, admiration, and this real, need to understand.
It seems so natural for kids. The world is amazing to them.
Well, yeah, because so much of it is new. Wonder is kind of their standard operating procedure.
But then, we grow up.
Uh-huh. Things change.
Routine sets in. We see the same things day after day. And that sparkle, it can dim a bit.
Familiarity, right. We learn the explanations, the science behind things, and sometimes
the magic gets lost. The extraordinary feels, ordinary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Wonder isn't just for kids. It's actually, I'd argue, pretty crucial for everyone.
Crucial how? Like for happiness?
For a richer life, definitely. It keeps us open, curious, engaged with the world instead of just going through the motions.
Okay, I see that. It stops you sleepwalking through life a bit.
Right. And it fuels creativity. That sense of awe often sparks new ideas, new ways of looking at things. It pushes learning.
Though feeling wonder makes you want to figure stuff out.
Often, yeah. Or sometimes it just connects you to something bigger.
Bigger. Like the universe, or?
Could be the universe, could be the complexity of nature, even the depth of human kindness. It pulls you out of your own head for a second.
Gives you perspective. Reminds you that existence itself is pretty wild.
Wildly improbable, yeah. And beautiful. It lifts you out of the mundane.
Okay, so if it's so important, but it fades, how do we, get it back? Or cultivate it? It feels like it slips away easily.
It does take a bit of conscious effort. It starts with paying attention, really paying attention to the familiar.
Like what? My commute? My desk?
Could be. Notice the way the light falls differently throughout the day. Really look at the pattern on a leaf or the structure of a spider web.
Okay, seeing the details in the everyday.
Exactly. Even a weed pushing through pavement, there's tenacity there, something kind of wondrous.
And you mentioned questions earlier. Is asking why important, even if we don't get an answer?
Absolutely. Sometimes the mystery itself is the point. Embrace not knowing everything. Just wonder about it.
So less finding answers, more asking questions.
And slowing down. That's huge. Put the phone away for 5 minutes. Look up at the sky, really study a tree, watch people's faces.
Without the distraction filter.
Right, and actively seek it out. Go listen to music that moves you, look at art, read about scientific discoveries, notice acts of kindness. Wonder is everywhere.
It sounds like it's not about being, naive or forgetting how things work.
Not at all. It's a conscious choice. It's about choosing to see the magic that coexists with the explanation.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Think about looking at a flower. You can just see, okay, flower. Pretty.
Right.
You can see this incredible product of millions of years of evolution. You can think about the biology making it grow, the physics creating those specific colors, the sheer aesthetic beauty of it all.
So you see the science and the magic at the same time?
Precisely. They aren't mutually exclusive. Wonder is that richer perspective.
Yeah, it really clicks. It's an active way of seeing. So maybe a question for you listening right now. What's one small thing today, something maybe you see all the time, that you could just pause and look at with fresh eyes? Really try to find that spark.
Could be anything. Your own hand, even.
Yeah. Just take a moment to look and wonder.
The potential is all around us.
And with this, we come to the end of another Learning Bite from English Plus Podcast. Stay curious and never stop learning.
Ever found yourself in the middle of a huge, jaw-stretching yawn and wondered, why on earth did my body just do that? Especially when tired or maybe even just bored? And why is it that seeing someone else yawn makes you want to do it too? Let's decode the surprisingly complex world of yawning. This is Why It Happens from English Plus Podcast. Never stop learning.
You know when you get that huge, uncontrollable yawn?
Oh, yeah.
Happens when you're tired, obviously, but sometimes it's just boredom. Or, even weirder, you see someone else yawn.
And suddenly you're doing it too.
Exactly. What's actually going on there? That's what we're digging into today, the surprisingly complicated story of the yawn.
Well, for ages, the standard explanation was pretty simple.
Right, the oxygen thing.
Yeah, exactly. You yawn because your body needs more oxygen or maybe needs to get rid of extra carbon dioxide. It feels right, doesn't it? That big, deep breath.
Totally feels like you're gulping down air for a reason. But turns out that's probably not it.
Yeah, science has mostly moved past that idea. They've done studies, Giving people extra oxygen doesn't really stop the yawning.
Huh.
And your breathing doesn't change all that much after a yawn either. So if it's not about air, what are we thinking now?
Okay, spill the beans. What's the new theory?
So the leading idea now is actually pretty cool. It might be about brain temperature.
Brain temperature. Like cooling it down?
Yeah. Basically, yeah. Think of your brain like a computer. It's always working, generating heat. And it works best in a certain temperature zone.
Okay.
When you're tired or maybe just bored, your brain activity might shift in a way that causes a slight temperature increase.
Right, okay. So the yawn is like hitting the fan switch.
Yeah.
How does it cool the brain down?
It seems to be a couple of things working together. First, that big inhale often brings in air that's cooler than your body temperature.
Makes sense.
And second, when you really stretch your jaw wide in a yawn, that actually increases blood flow in your face and neck quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
So the cooler air coming in, combined with that increased blood flow, the thinking is it helps carry heat away from the brain, sort of like an internal air conditioner kicking in for a moment.
Wow, okay, like a quick reset for the brain's thermostat.
Something like that. Though, researchers are still looking into whether that cooling is the main reason or if there's other subtle stuff happening too.
Fascinating. But then, what about the contagious yawning? That's the really weird part for me. Why does just seeing someone yawn, or even hearing it, or heck, thinking about it
set you off? Yeah. That leads us into something called mirror neurons.
Mirror neurons, I've heard of those. They fire when you do something, but also when you see someone else do it.
Exactly right. They're involved in imitation, understanding actions, maybe even empathy. And contagious yawning seems to plug right into that system.
So our brains are just automatically copying the action, like a reflex.
It seems like a very subconscious mimicry, yeah.
But why? I mean, what's the point socially? Why would we catch a yawn from someone else?
Well, that's a great question, and the theories are interesting. It could be a really old subconscious way to signal things within a group.
Like what?
Maybe synchronizing alertness levels. If one person is feeling tired or less alert, a yawn could subtly signal that to others, like, hey, maybe time for a break, or pay attention, something might be up.
Okay, a group check-in, almost.
Could be. Or it might just help strengthen social bonds, showing you're kind of in sync with the people around you. It creates a subtle, shared experience.
That makes sense. And it explains why even just reading the word yawn can sometimes.
Trigger one, yep. Shows how deep that connection goes.
Right. And it's not just us humans, is it? Animals yawn all the time. My dog definitely yawns.
Oh, absolutely. Lots of animals yawn: dogs, cats, snakes, even fish. It's a very old behavior.
But is it contagious for them too?
That's the interesting part. While many animals yawn, the contagious yawning seems much more common in social animals. Primates, like us and chimpanzees, definitely do it. Dogs show signs of it too, especially with their owners.
Ah, so it might be tied more to social living.
That seems likely. It suggests a link between that mirroring behavior and how we interact socially. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Maybe dogs yawn for slightly different reasons than fish do.
It's just amazing that something so automatic, so everyday, is still, well, kind of mysterious.
It really is. It just shows how even simple body actions can have these deep, complex roots.
So the next time you feel that yawn coming on,
Yeah, maybe pause for a second. It might be your brain just cooling off.
or maybe it's a tiny subconscious nod to someone else nearby. Pretty interesting stuff.
Definitely.
And with this, we come to the end of another Learning Bite from English Plus Podcast. Stay curious and never stop learning.
Think about your most cherished memory. Maybe it's the feeling of sunshine on your face during a perfect childhood summer day, the thrill of a first kiss, or the quiet joy of holding your newborn child. Imagine you could perfectly transfer that entire sensory and emotional experience, the sights, sounds, smells, feelings, directly into someone else's mind. And they could do the same for you. What if our memories weren't private, locked-away treasures, but experiences we could actually share? This is Imagine What If from English Plus Podcast. Never stop learning.
Today, we're exploring something really mind-bending.
Definitely gets you thinking.
Yeah, think about this. The ability to perfectly transfer, your entire sensory, emotional memories to someone else.
And get theirs back in return. Wow.
Exactly. Imagine sharing, say, your proudest moment or pure joy,
And they feel it exactly, precisely as you did.
And then you feel one of their core memories. Just what happens then? What possibilities does that open up?
It's huge. The first thing that jumps out is maybe empathy, a profound level of understanding.
Oh, so?
Well, instead of just, trying to imagine what someone went through, you could actually access their direct experience, their memory of it.
Like a refugee's journey, maybe. Or seeing Earth from space like an astronaut.
Exactly that kind of thing. It could completely change how we connect, how we understand experiences vastly different from our own, couldn't it?
It really could. And it makes you think about learning, too, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Forget textbooks for a second. Imagine learning history by feeling the memories of people who were actually there.
Or mastering a skill, like accessing a musician's memory of playing a perfect piece.
Yeah. It's just a whole different way to absorb knowledge, to gain skills. Completely transformative.
And, relationships, too. Think about it.
Okay.
Sharing memories of, say, how you first met, but from each other's point of view.
That could build incredible connection or resolve arguments.
Yeah.
Seeing the same fight from the other side.
Potentially, yeah. It could cut through misunderstandings at a really basic level.
Okay, but the flip side, privacy. That's a big one, right?
Definitely. A huge one.
Would we really want all our memories potentially shareable? I mean, embarrassing moments.
Traumatic ones.
Yes.
Secrets. Things we've deliberately tried to forget or move past.
The idea of that being accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that gives you pause. It really does.
And it leads straight into the potential for misuse, doesn't it?
And I mean?
Well, could memories be weaponized, manipulated? Could someone alter your past experiences?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Or steal them. Sell them even. Like some kind of black market for memories.
It opens up some really dark possibilities. Questions about control, autonomy, who owns your past.
And what about just us? Our identity.
Yeah.
Our memories make us who we are. They build our story.
Exactly. They're fundamental.
So if we start merging experiences, swapping these core building blocks,
Yeah.
what does that do to our sense of self?
Could it lead to overload? Like too many experiences that aren't really yours?
Or an identity crisis, losing track of your own unique narrative.
It's a serious concern. And another thing, we know memory isn't perfect.
Right. It's not like a video recording. It changes.
It's reconstructive.
Yeah.
Fallible. Biased even. So if we're sharing these inherently flawed subjective things,
Are we sharing truth? Or just sharing potentially wrong or biased perspectives?
could we end up creating shared false beliefs on a massive scale?
It feels like a Pandora's box, this whole idea.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
The potential for connection, for understanding, it's incredible. But the risks to privacy, identity, truth itself, they seem just as huge.
Profound risks. It forces you to really consider what memories mean to us, what makes us.
And what happens if those personal boundaries get blurred?
It's a deep question, really deep.
So let's leave you with this to think about. If you could share just one memory, one single memory, what would it be? And who would you share it with?
And maybe, whose memory would you most want to experience just once?
Really makes you think about what's truly essential to our individual experience and how we connect, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
And with this, we come to the end of another Learning Bite from English Plus Podcast. Stay curious and never stop learning.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our talk about our imagine what if scenario, but it doesn't end here. We still have the short story which Danny wrote inspired by this what if scenario. The story is called The Weight of Lake Light. I hope you enjoy it. Let's listen to it first, and then we're going to discuss it.
The Weight of Lake Light, a short story by Danny Ballin. Arthur traced the rim of his coffee cup, the ceramic cool beneath his fingertips. Outside his Chicago window, the morning unfolded, with its usual rhythm of distant sirens and the rumble of the L train. On the table lay the unopened box, sleek and silver, a gift from his daughter Chloe. A Remhamshire unit, the label proclaimed. He hadn't spoken properly to Chloe in months, not since the argument about the old house. Now this, a device to share memories. The thought felt like an intrusion, a key offered to a door he preferred to keep locked. His memories felt like worn stones in his pocket, familiar, heavy, his alone. What would Chloe want with them? His recollection of her mother, Eleanor, laughing in the kitchen, sunlight catching the flour dust in the air, or the sharp, bitter memory of closing his shop for the last time? He wasn't sure he wanted to feel whatever Chloe chose to send back. The curated happiness of her life in Seattle, perhaps? Or worse, a memory designed to make him feel guilty? Hesitantly, days later, he opened the box. The device was small, like a smooth pebble. Instructions guided him through the setup, linking his device to Chloe's across the country. Choose a memory to share. He scrolled through the prompts on the small screen, his mind racing. Not Eleanor, not yet. Too precious. Not the service years. Too raw. He settled on something simple, a childhood afternoon fishing with his father off a pier on Lake Michigan. He chose it for its simplicity, its lack of sharp edges, a safe offering. He remembered the sharp wind, the patience required, the quiet pride when he'd finally pulled a small, wriggling perch onto the concrete. He focused, letting the remem-share device record the sensory details, the rough feel of the fishing line, the particular gray-blue of the lake that day, the weight of his father's hand on his shoulder. Send. Notification pinged almost immediately. Chloe has shared a memory. His breath caught. He picked up the device, its surface now faintly warm, except he pressed yes. It wasn't a grand, happy memory. It was small, quiet. The warmth from the device bloomed behind his eyes, and the view shifted. Suddenly, he was small, perched on stairs inside the old house, knees tucked tight against a child's chest. She was maybe 7. He could hear the low murmur of his own voice arguing with Eleanor from the living room, the words indistinct, but the tension tightened the air like a held breath. He felt the knot of fear in her small stomach, the rough texture of the stair carpet under her fingers, the specific way the afternoon light fell through the landing window, illuminating dust motes dancing in the silence after the shouting stopped. It wasn't an accusation, just a moment of her quiet fear he'd never known existed. He sat back, the borrowed feeling receding slowly, leaving a cold echo in his own chest. A child's fear, lodged within him now. He hadn't remembered arguing that day, hadn't considered his daughter listening, absorbing the tension. He looked again at the memory he had sent, the simple joy of fishing. What had she felt receiving it? Had it meant anything? Another notification. This time, just text. Thanks, Dad. I'd forgotten the color of the lake there. Arthur picked up his coffee cup. It felt different in his hand now, the weight of it somehow connected to the weight of that shared, silent moment on the stairs. He hadn't bridged the country, not really. He hadn't fixed the arguments or erased the distance. But he had felt something shift, a small recalibration. He had felt a sliver of her past, and she, perhaps, a sliver of his. The locked door hadn't been thrown open, but it felt, for the first time in a long time, slightly ajar. He wasn't sure if he was ready for what might come through, or what else he might be willing to send, but the silence between them felt different now, thin threads of shared feeling shimmering in the space where emptiness had been.
We've got quite a story to unpack today. It's Danny Ballin's The Weight of Lake Light.
Yeah, it's a really compelling short piece.
And we're not just, giving you the plot points.
Yeah.
Our mission here is to really dig in, explore the layers. What's it saying about memory, connection, or, well, maybe the lack of connection sometimes?
Definitely. And those complex family relationships, too. It looks at how families sort of carry these unspoken histories, right? And then challenge of actually truly understanding each other.
So the core premise, just to set the scene, there's this father, Arthur. He's estranged from his daughter, Chloe.
Right. And she sends him this device, this remem-share thing. It basically lets them share memories directly, like experience what the other person experienced.
Simple idea on the surface, but wow, the emotional stuff underneath. It's deep.
It really is.
And Arthur's reaction when he gets it.
It's not pure excitement, is it? There's this hesitation right away.
Oh, absolutely. He talks about his memories being like worn stones, heavy, personal things he carries. And the idea of just sharing them, especially with Chloe, after all this silence, he says it feels like an intrusion, like she's offering a key to a door he wants to keep locked.
That initial resistance is so telling, isn't it? It really speaks to that guardedness, that sort of self-protection that builds up when relationships are strained.
He's not just saying no, but there's this deep worry.
Yeah, he's questioning her motives, like, is this real? Is it an olive branch?
Yeah.
Or is it something trickier?
He even thinks maybe she'll send curated happy moments to make him feel bad. Or maybe something deliberately chosen to make him feel guilty.
And the fact that his mind jumps to those negative possibilities first, well, it just shows how much distance has grown between them, doesn't it?
It really does. And it actually takes him days, right? Days to even bring himself to use the device.
Which makes his first choice of memory even more significant. He's clearly thinking hard about the impact. What should this first step be?
So he picks this memory from his childhood, a fishing trip with his own father, Lake Michigan.
And his reasons are so revealing. He thinks of it as simple, lacking sharp edges. It's like a consciously safe offering.
He focuses on transmitting these very specific, almost physical sensations. The feel of the fishing line, he says it was rough.
The specific color of the lake, that gray-blue, the weight of his father's hand on his shoulder. It's like pure, uncomplicated peace he's trying to send.
Almost nostalgic. Maybe reaching back to a connection he really values, trying to share that feeling.
It feels very carefully chosen, doesn't it? Like a filtered version of himself, maybe? Hoping for a positive reaction without making himself too vulnerable.
Exactly. And then, almost right away, Chloe responds. She sends her first memory. And this is where things get interesting.
Oh, yeah, because it's such a stark contrast. While he sent this peaceful outdoor scene, she sends him fear.
It's her as a child, right? Like 7 years old, hiding on the stairs while her parents are arguing.
Precisely, and the details she shares, it's all sensory. The low sound of angry voices, not the words, but the tone, the tightness in her stomach.
The feel of the stair carpet under her hands. Even the way the afternoon light looked, catching dust motes after the shouting stopped. It's just this intense, lonely moment of childhood anxiety.
And the thing is, Arthur was completely unaware. He didn't know she was there feeling that.
Right.
Which is, wow.
That disconnect is just so powerful. He offers light and connection. She shares this hidden moment of darkness, of unease.
It really slams home how differently people in the same family can experience the same time period, Especially kids. They pick up on the emotional currents in ways adults might just miss.
It makes you wonder about all those unseen moments, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The ones that shape us without anyone else knowing.
Definitely. And Arthur's reaction when he receives her memory. The story says he feels this cold echo in his chest.
Yeah, that shock of seeing a part of his daughter's inner life he never ever knew existed.
It raises that question, doesn't it? Can these vastly different memories actually build a bridge? Or do they just, at first anyway, highlight how far apart their experiences really were?
It's almost like they're speaking different emotional languages. He sends nostalgia, she sends raw vulnerability.
And then we get that text message from Chloe. It's so simple.
Just, thanks, Dad. I'd forgotten the color of the lake there. That's it.
But it feels huge in the context of the story. It's not some big emotional confession, but it is an acknowledgement. She received his offering.
And that specific detail, the color of the lake, it suggests something in his memory, even his carefully chosen one, actually connected with her. A tiny, shared sensory detail.
Like a single thread, right? A very thin thread, maybe, but it's there. A connection is made.
And Arthur feels it. He notices the silence between them changes after that text. It felt heavy before, probably strained.
But now it feels different. The story says it's like these thin threads of shared feeling are now stretching across the silence.
And that image used the locked door being slightly ajar. It's perfect.
It really is. It captures that fragility, the tentativeness. It's not like everything's fixed. The big issues aren't suddenly resolved.
No, not at all.
But something has shifted. A recalibration. He's seen a different side of her willingness to share something real, something less polished.
And it leaves him wondering, right, what else might he be willing to share now? Or what might she send next? The dynamic feels altered.
Definitely. So as we, dig into the weight of Lake Light, it really shows how memory isn't just this passive recording of the past.
No, it's active. It shapes our relationships right now. It can connect us, sure, but it can also really highlight how different our inner worlds are, even within a family.
And the remem share, this bit of tech, it just acts as a catalyst. It forces this new kind of communication, almost bypassing words, to get straight to the feeling, even if that feeling is initially pretty uncomfortable.
What's amazing is how it uses those tiny sensory details, the carpet texture, the light, the fishing line, to carry so much emotional weight.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about the unspoken stuff in our own families, the little moments, the shared sensations that might mean more than we realize, that unspoken language.
It absolutely does. The Weight of Lake Light really gives you this nuanced, insightful look at family, memory, and that whole delicate dance of trying to connect. I hope you enjoyed this short story, and now let's continue with our Plus Bite episode from English Plus Podcast. Stay curious and never stop learning.
Ever heard of a puzzle so grand? Legend says the world will end when it's solved. Let's talk about the Tower of Hanoi. Forget the cosmic implications for a moment, and just picture 3 pegs. On the first peg, there's a stack of discs, maybe starting with, say, 3 discs. They're stacked neatly, largest at the bottom, getting progressively smaller towards the top, like a cone. Your goal is simple. Move the entire stack of discs from the starting peg to the destination peg. Let's call them peg A and peg C. There's a third, auxiliary peg, peg B, you can use as a temporary holding spot. But there are rules, those ancient, unbreakable rules. This is Tease Your Brain from English Plus Podcast. Never stop learning.
Ever faced a problem that felt, well, almost impossible until you found that one hidden trick?
Yeah, like a kind of mental block and then suddenly clarity.
Exactly. Today we're diving into a puzzle that does just that. It seems overwhelming, but it has this surprisingly elegant solution. It's the Tower of Hanoi.
Ah, the legendary one. People talk about prophecies and world-ending stuff, but let's maybe put that aside for a sec.
Good idea. Let's focus on the puzzle itself. Picture this. You've got 3 simple pegs. And on the first peg, peg A, let's call it.
Okay, peg A.
There's a stack of discs, different sizes, perfectly ordered, biggest on the bottom, smallest right on top.
Right. And the goal sounds simple enough, doesn't it? You just need to move that entire stack from peg A over to, say, the last peg, peg C.
Using that middle one, peg B, as like a helper, a temporary spot.
Exactly, a holding area.
But of course, it's not that simple. There are rules, like any good puzzle.
Naturally. What's the first one?
Okay, rule 1. You can only move one disc at a time.
Simple enough. Grab one, move it.
Rule 2. You can only ever move the disc that's currently on top of a stack. No digging down.
Ah, okay. So only the very topmost disc is ever available to move.
Got it. And rule 3, this is the crucial one for keeping order.
Let me guess. Something about the sizes.
You got it. A larger disc can never be placed on top of a smaller disc. Ever.
Right. So that pyramid shape, you always have to maintain that, basically. Smaller on top of larger is fine, but not the other way around.
Precisely. Okay, so let's try it with just 3 discs. Small, medium, large, starting on peg A. How do we get them to C?
Okay, 3 discs. We can walk through this. So first move. The smallest disc seems easiest to move. Let's put it on the destination, peg C.
Okay, smallest to C. Done. Peg A now has medium on top, large below. Peg C has the small one.
Right. Now we want to free up that large disc eventually. So let's move the medium disc from A, where can it go? Only onto B, right? Because C has the small one.
Yep. Medium disc moves from A to B, so A has large, B has medium, C has small.
Good. Now that small disc on C is kind of in the way of the large one eventually getting there. We should move it.
Where to? Can't go on A, large is there. It can go on B on top of the medium one. Small and medium is okay.
Perfect. Smallest disc from C moves over to B. Now B has medium, then small on top. Peg C is empty.
And peg A finally has the large disc exposed.
Yes. So now we move the largest disc from A all the way over to its final destination, peg C.
Okay, large from A to C. That's a big step. So A is empty, B has medium, then small, C has large. We're getting there.
We are. Now we just need to get that stack from B onto C. What's the top disc on B?
The smallest one.
Right. Where can it go? It can't go on C because the large disc is there. So it has to go to the empty peg, A.
Okay. Smallest from B to A. So A is small, B has medium, C has large.
Almost there. Now the medium disc on B is free, and its target is peg C, on top of the large one. Medium on large is fine.
Move medium from B to C. Peg B is now empty. A has small, C has large, then medium.
And the final move is pretty obvious now, isn't it?
Yeah. Just take that smallest disc from peg A and pop it right on top of the stack on peg C.
Exactly. Smallest from A to C. And done. The whole tower, large, medium, small, is on peg C.
Okay, let's count those moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, It took 7 moves.
7 moves for 3 discs. That feels manageable.
It does, but then you start thinking,
Yeah.
what about 4 discs? Or 5? Or, that crazy legend with 64 golden discs?
Yeah, trying to physically map out the moves for, say, even just 5 discs starts to get messy. You'd need a lot of paper.
Or very good memory. It makes you wonder, is there a smarter way? A pattern, maybe? Instead of just brute forcing it step by step.
That's the beautiful thing about this puzzle. There is a more strategic way to think about it. And it involves a really cool concept from computer science and math called recursion.
Recursion. Okay, I've heard the term. How does it apply here? It sounds complicated.
It sounds fancy, but the core idea is actually quite elegant. It's about breaking a big problem down into smaller, identical versions of itself.
Okay, like solving a mini puzzle to solve the big one.
Pretty much. So imagine you want to move n discs any number n from our starting peg A to the destination C. You can think about it in 3 main stages using that recursive logic.
All right, break it down for us. Stage 1.
Stage 1. You need to move the top N1 disc, so everything except the biggest disc at the bottom from the starting peg A over to the auxiliary peg B.
Okay, wait. Move almost the whole stack, but to the helper peg, B, not the final destination.
Exactly. And you'd use peg C, the final destination peg, as the temporary helper for this smaller move. See how it mirrors the original problem, but slightly smaller?
I think I see. You're temporarily relocating the smaller stack to get it out of the way. So what's stage 2?
Stage 2 is simple now. Once those top N1 discs are sitting on peg B, what's left on peg A?
Just the single biggest disk.
Right. And where does it ultimately need to go?
To peg C, the destination.
So stage 2 is just move that one, largest disk, from A directly to C.
Okay, that makes sense. Get the base of the tower in its final spot. So the biggest disk is on C, the other N1 disks are on B. What's stage 3?
Stage 3 is basically repeating stage 1, but in reverse. You now take that stack of N1 disks that are currently on peg B,
The helper peg.
and you move them over to their final destination, peg C, placing them on top of the largest disk that's already there.
And for this move, the original starting peg, A, which is now empty, becomes the temporary helper peg.
Precisely. You use A as the auxiliary this time.
Wow. So to move n disks, you first move N1 disks, then move the nth disk, then move the N1 disks again. It refers back to itself.
That's the heart of recursion. It's like those Russian nesting dolls, isn't it? Solving the problem for n disks relies on knowing how to solve it for N1 disks.
It's kind of elegant, actually. Does this recursive thinking lead to, like, a formula for the number of moves?
It absolutely does. Because of this structure, effectively moving the smaller stack twice for every one move of the largest disk, a very clear mathematical pattern emerges for the minimum number of moves.
Okay, don't keep us in suspense. What's the magic formula?
The minimum number of moves required to solve the Tower of Hanoi with n disks is 2 to the power of n minus 1.
2 to the power of n minus 1. Okay, let's test that. For our 3 disks, n is 3. So 2 to the power of 3, that's 2 times 2, which is 8.
Right.
And then minus 1 gives 7. Hey, that matches our 7 moves.
It works out perfectly,
Right.
and it scales predictably for 4 disks and 4. So 2 to the power of 4 is 16 minus 1.
15 moves.
Exactly. For 5 disks, 2 to the power of 5 is 32 minus 1 is...
31 moves. Okay, I see the pattern. It grows fast.
It grows very fast, exponentially, in fact. Which brings us back to that legend, the 64 golden discs.
Right. So using the formula, that would be 2 to the power of 64 minus 1. What does that number even look like?
Well, 2 to the power of 64 is enormous. It's over 18 quintillion. That's an 18 followed by 18 zeros.
18 quintillion moves. That's just mind-boggling.
It really is. To put it in perspective, even if you could move one disk every single second without stopping, ever.
Yeah. How long would it take?
It would take approximately 585 billion years to complete the puzzle.
Billion. Will it be? Wow. Okay, so I think we can safely say the world isn't ending anytime soon based on that puzzle being solved.
Yeah, probably a safe bet. The monks or whoever have plenty of time.
So when you think about this puzzle, what strikes you more? Is it the recursive logic itself, that neat step-by-step way of breaking it down?
Or is it the sheer scale of the numbers involved once you get past just a few disks, that explosion in complexity?
Yeah, it's a fascinating contrast. And for you listening, as we walk through the 3-disc solution, did you find yourself visualizing it? Did it feel like a good little mental workout?
It makes you think, doesn't it? Have you ever faced a problem, maybe at work or just in life, that seemed totally overwhelming at first glance?
Yeah.
But then maybe you found a way to break it down, to find a smaller repeating pattern within it that made it manageable? The Tower of Hanoi is kind of a pure example of that strategy.
It really is. We'd love for you to mull that over. Have you ever played with the Tower of Hanoi yourself? Or maybe encountered other puzzles that have that similar feel, that hidden recursive structure?
It's amazing how such simple rules, just 3 little rules, can lead to these incredibly complex and, well, mathematically profound outcomes.
It really shows the power of thinking about problems in terms of these self-similar parts.
Absolutely.
And with this, we come to the end of another Learning Bite from English Plus Podcast. Stay curious and never stop learning.
Imagine reaching into your bag without looking. How do you know if you're grabbing your keys or your phone just by touch? How do you navigate a familiar room in the dark without bumping into everything? The brain region working overtime for these tasks is the parietal lobe. This is Know Your Brain from English Plus Podcast. Never stop learning.
Ever wonder how you can, say, reach for a light switch in a pitch black room? Or maybe catch something without even looking right at your hand?
It seems simple, right? But it's actually quite amazing.
Exactly. And the brain region pulling the strings there, the one we're exploring today, is the parietal lobe.
It's a really fascinating area with, well, a whole lot of jobs.
So where is it exactly, roughly speaking?
Okay, so picture the top of your head. It sits behind the frontal lobe, the forehead area, and stretches kind of towards the back and crown.
Got it. And its main gig?
Its primary role, really, is being this central hub for processing sensory information and, crucially, giving you a sense of where you are in space, your physical self in the world.
A command center for, like, physical experience.
You could put it that way, yeah. It makes sense of the physical world around you and your body within it.
Okay, so let's break that down. When we touch something like feel a hot mug or the texture of, I don't know, velvet or even stub a toe, ouch, what part handles that?
Right. That specific job falls to the somatosensory cortex. It's located right at the front of the parietal lobe.
Just behind the part that controls movement, the motor cortex.
Precisely. Think of the somatosensory cortex as this incredibly detailed map of your entire body.
A map.
Yeah, it receives all the signals coming in from touch receptors everywhere, skin, muscles, joints, and it interprets them. Tells you hot, cold, sharp, dull, smooth, rough, pressure, pain, you name it.
Wow, so that's how we get that immediate tactile feel of the world.
That's it. It's our direct line to physical sensation.
Okay, sensory map, check. Now, how does this link to knowing where our body parts are? Like, I know my feet are down there, even if I can't see them.
Ah, yes, that's proprioception, and the parietal lobe is absolutely central to that.
Proprioception, the sixth sense people sometimes talk about.
Sort of, yeah. It's this constant stream of feedback from your muscles and joints telling your brain about their position and movement. You don't need to look.
So it's like an internal GPS for your body.
That's a great analogy. An internal GPS, or maybe an inner compass, it's fundamental for, well, everything. Navigating a room, judging distances, reaching out accurately.
Even understanding a map, like a physical one, or a mental map of your house.
Exactly. Both involve spatial understanding, which is core parietal lobe territory. It lets you coordinate movements smoothly because you know where your limbs are starting from and where they need to go.
Amazing. An inner compass working constantly. But surely it's not just dealing with touch and body position in isolation. Doesn't it need to connect that with, say, what we're seeing?
Oh, absolutely. Integration is key. The parietal lobe is a master integrator.
How so?
Well, take your example of reaching for something you see. Your parietal lobe is in constant communication with your visual cortex, the part processing site.
Oh.
It works together, coordinating your hand movement based on what you see and where you feel your hand to be. It merges touch, vision, and that spatial awareness sense we talked about.
So it creates this unified, coherent experience of what's happening.
Precisely. It blends all these different streams of sensory data so you can interact with the world effectively. Think about how seamlessly you just do things. That's this integration at work.
It's like the brain's sensory switchboard operator,
Yeah.
making sure everything connects. Does it also help us focus, pay attention?
It does play a role, yes, particularly in spatial attention.
Spatial attention, meaning?
Like noticing something in the corner of your eye or generally orienting yourself to your surroundings and deciding what in that space is important right now.
Right, filtering out the unimportant stuff in the environment.
It helps with that filtering and direction of focus, spatially speaking. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? How much filtering is happening right now that you're not even aware of.
Definitely food for thought. And I read something interesting too, something about numbers, math. Is a parietal lobe involved there? Seems kind of random.
It does seem like a leap, doesn't it? But yes, it's true. Certain parts of the parietal lobe are actually involved in numerical processing and mathematical thinking.
Seriously.
It seems linked to understanding quantity, magnitude, how numbers relate to each other spatially almost. It's not just calculation, but the conceptual side of numbers too.
Wow. Okay, so this single brain region is juggling touch, temperature, pain, knowing where our body is, navigating space, integrating senses, directing attention, and even helping with math.
Pretty much. It's constantly, quietly working behind the scenes, taking all this raw data from our senses and turning it into, into our perceived reality, our meaningful experience of the physical world.
The brain's master interpreter of physical reality. I like that.
It fits, doesn't it? Without it, simple everyday tasks would become incredibly difficult, maybe impossible.
Yeah, you really take it for granted.
Maybe think about it next time you, drive your car, play a sport, or even just walk around your kitchen making coffee. What's one thing you do that really leans heavily on this sensory integration, this spatial awareness power?
That's a good one. Probably just walking without bumping into things.
It's fundamental. Makes you appreciate the complexity, right, Mary?
Yeah, it really does. Gives you a whole new perspective on just being.
Indeed.
And with this, we come to the end of another Learning Bite from English Plus Podcast. Stay curious and never stop learning.
And that brings us to the end of another diverse exploration on English Plus Podcast. We journeyed from the meaning of idioms to the resilience of empires, debated the existence of ghosts, celebrated small successes, pondered the nature of time, and even shared a fictional memory through one of our stories. We hope these segments have sparked your curiosity and given you plenty to reflect on. Don't forget to subscribe to English Plus Podcast wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss out on our eclectic mix of topics. And if you're hungry for even more, you can unlock access to all our premium content, including full transcripts, PDF worksheets, and exclusive bonus episodes by becoming a premium subscriber on Apple Podcasts or by joining our community on Patreon. You can find all the links you need right there in the description of this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, never stop learning.